How would you describe the nature of the conversation you and Draymond had on the bench in the third quarter before he went to the locker room?
Yeah, we got into it obviously, and I took the time out just because I thought we lost our focus there a little bit, and so we had it out a little bit, and he made his decision to go back to the locker room to cool off, and that's all I'm going to say about it. It's everything is private, and I got nothing further to add.
Would you? I mean, he didn't play the last 20 minutes. Would you have gone back to?
No, he wasn't going back in.
And was that a decision by him or you?
Well, he left. He went back to the locker room, and so we moved forward, and the guys played great. It's a hell of a win, really good second half, and I'm very proud of the team. And like I said, nothing more to discuss from my end.
Just to clarify, he went to the locker room. He wasn't sent to the locker room.
Right.
Steve, you've been through a lot of different stuff in your career. How does the group move forward after that kind of exchange happens in a game?
The group's ready to go. I mean, you could see the game tonight, and we need Draymond, and he's a champion, and we've been together for a long time, and all we can do is the rest of the group keep pushing, keep getting better. I thought this was one of our better games. I thought the first half was brilliant. We just didn't make shots. I thought Draymond played great. The whole team was really, really good, but we were 3 for 18 from the three-point line. We just couldn't make anything in the first half, but the process was great. That continued through the second half, and it's unfortunate what happened, but it happened.
To what you're saying, you don't think it'll linger?
No.
Steve, this is the second time in a row that the team has kind of responded to Draymond's absence in a positive way. Did it mean anything?
Means we got guys on the bench who are dying to play. I mean, this is the NBA, and all these guys have their careers at stake, and they want to win, they want to play, and if their opportunity comes up, they're ready to go.
And Jimmy was really efficient in the first half. Steph couldn't get much going, and then it flipped in the second half where Steph came out on fire. Yeah. That kind of tag team action, what do you take from that?
It's two of the best players in the league. When we got Jimmy last year, that's what it looked like. 2 stars carrying the team. Draymond at center, holding down the defense. We go 23-8. We win around in the playoffs. So we've seen this. It's just here in the early part of this season, we haven't been able to capture that same momentum. But I've been saying this for weeks. I'm very confident in this group, and I think we're gonna find it. And I think you saw, what that can look like tonight.
I think Podziemski was plus 36 tonight. How important is it for this group for him to be playing like he has for the past couple weeks?
Yeah, he's a hell of a player. We've seen it. He's had his ups and downs early in his career. This is year 3. Like a lot of young players who are good players, he wants to explore how good he can be, and so sometimes he gets himself in trouble trying to do too much. But when he's at his best, it looks like it did tonight. Ball's moving, he's attacking, rebounding. He's a really good player.
Moses also had a good night, 20 points, defense on Banchero. What'd you see from him?
Moses was fantastic, and it's nice to get him back in the starting lineup. As I said, I'd like to keep this lineup, going forward. And Mo, last year when he got into the starting lineup, the last 30 games really thrived. It's a great role for him, guarding the other team's best player and spotting up, playing off of Jimmy and Dre and Steph. And Moses had a fantastic night tonight.
Steve, you guys outscored them 62-50 in the paint. What do you think led to you guys getting in the paint and finishing so well tonight? Well,
I thought we had really good spacing, which gave us driving lanes. Felt like we rebounded, really well. 14 offensive boards, and that's a monster team. And to basically stay even with them on the free throw line and the glass was a big deal for us.
Hello, Coach. Talk about Brandon. He finished the games with 36 plus minus. I was wondering how that data impacts your rotation decision in the future.
Yeah, ever since Brandon got here, he's been one of our highest plus minus guys. And, that number is, it's not always telling about how the game went, but when a guy is consistently, on the plus side like Brandon is, he's doing something right. What I like about him is that he's good with almost any lineup. I like playing him with a point guard. I think he's at his best when he can play kind of the combo, handle the ball, move it, and be part of the five-man group rather than being the only point who's dominating the ball. So he really connects a lot of our lineups.
And about center selection, I was wondering how did you make a decision between the TJD and QP? Obviously, they bring the different skill sets on the table.
The difference between QP and Trace? And Trace, yeah. They complement each other really well. I mean, they're very different players, obviously. And, Quentin has just grown so much defensively this last year. Gotten stronger, more athletic. You saw the block shot tonight he had in the paint. And then Trace comes in and he gives us a different look, more of a roller, finisher at the rim. And it's really exciting seeing these young guys, start to emerge and come into their own. Thank you. Have a good night.
Steph, what was your view of what happened between Draymond and Steve?
Oh, sorry, hold on. I ain't seen this yet. Sorry, what'd you say?
What was your view of from what happened with Draymond and Steve?
Oh, they're just having a good conversation. It's kind of for them to talk about, not me.
As the leader of the team, do you think because he left the bench that this will linger more than other episodes that have happened in the past?
I don't think so. I don't know. I know he came up here and talked about it. I haven't had a chance to talk to him, so I'm pretty sure we know how to be professional, though.
Steve called that one of your best one of the team's best games. The way you guys came out in the second half, but even some of the shots in the first half, they just didn't fall. But he was very happy with everything. What was sort of your assessment on the game and how other guys came up in the second half?
I think our intentions were good on offense to try to move the ball, move bodies, get organized. And to your point, we didn't get discouraged if shots weren't falling. We still played with force on both ends. And, 13 turnovers, we look at that number as a good indicator of decisive basketball. And I think everybody played confidently with a purpose, meaning if you had a shot, you shoot it. If you got a driving angle, take it. If you don't have anything, swing it. It was a good concerted effort to do that, no matter if shots were falling or not.
How would you describe the mood of this team through 30 games, 15 and 15?
It's a little up and down, as I'm sure any team that's 500 experiences, where you feel like right now we're excited that we're putting some good efforts together and it's showing up with wins, but again, you don't ever get too ahead of yourself. So just excited for another big game on Christmas Day, and hopefully we can keep it going. So the vibes are good right now.
How do you feel about this particular rotation, this substitution pattern where it's pretty much you and Draymond together, and then when you guys are off the court, it's Jimmy and shooting?
I think it's a reflection of trying to put people in position to be successful and doing what we need to do as a team to, have as good of a lineup as we can knowing guys aren't playing 48 minutes. So it is. I mean, I know Coach has been tinkering a little bit on the fringes of the rotation and trying to whittle it down where there's much more consistency on a night-to-night basis. And I think he'll continue to try to figure out the right combinations. But the style of, me, Jimmy, and Draymond can play together all the time because we know each other so well. Who those other two guys are, I know he's trying to figure out those the right combinations there. And then I know you want me or Jimmy on the floor at all times, and Jimmy with shooting is kind of reflective of when he was at his greatest in Miami with that type of style. So we just have to understand what we're trying to do with whoever's on the floor and not think that the same play calls work for 48 minutes.
Second straight game that you guys took off. Last game, Draymond gets ejected. You guys take off and win the game. You plus 16 afterward. Tonight it was even bigger advantage for you. Is there an emotional component to when something like that happens, which you guys kind of pick up on? I mean, what's going on that allows you guys to do that when Draymond's out of the picture?
Yeah, there's a sense of urgency when he's not out there because our margin for error goes down, without his presence. So that's the frustrating part about this whole thing is being 15-15 because we feel like we're playing better than your record shows because we can respond. We were resilient. Being able to respond like we have these last two games, does it mean anything long term? I don't know, but it makes it fun because you have adversity, whether it's from the other team or some self-inflicted, and you're able to respond the way that you need to get a win because it matters. And nobody's letting go of the rope, as they say, right?
Is it conceivable, too, that because you guys didn't anticipate being at 500 this deep into the season, that there's also sort of a frustration that simmers, and maybe this last couple of games is sort of indicative of that? Everybody's got to be a little frustrated, I would think.
Yeah, but that frustration has led to 2 wins, so it's unfortunate that we're up here after, considering where we've been, 2-game win streak and protecting our home court, that the vibes of the questions are a little bit more negative than they should be because I get why you're asking them, but like I said, downstairs right now, the DJ's got a good playlist going. Guys are getting their work in. We're having a good time because we're winning.
Hello, Steph. Buddy Hield got a pretty struggle this season, so how much important he got 3 points on the court tonight?
You love to see one go in for him, knowing the last 2 games he's been out of the rotation, but we trust and know Buddy's again a professional. He gets his work in. He takes care of himself. He's gonna stay mentally locked in because he knows it can come back to him, and he has to be ready for when it does. So it's our job to encourage him. It's his job to, keep himself ready.
And about your shoe selection, any good idea for your next game, the Christmas?
I have some great ideas.
Steph, plus minus has always been kind of a big number for BP, plus 36 tonight. Where did you feel his impact most, and when do you feel he's at his best?
Yeah, he's such a unique player because, he has an ability to connect lineups. You don't even really know what position he plays. He just tries to, make winning plays. I think tonight it was just hustle. It was energy. It was, I'm going to try to impact the game, whether shots are falling or not. Fly around. He got 2, loose balls, diving on the floor, offensive rebounds. So, or 8 offensive rebounds. It was just his motor. And as a young guy, we need that.
Frustration is a word that's being thrown around a lot. What goes into channeling that frustration into wins? Like what's being said, what's being done by you guys?
Experience and frustration without getting rattled. There's a difference there. Like you can't panic, you can't start turning on each other. I think most of our conversations in the huddles and the locker room have been positive, trying to figure it out, as opposed to, pointing fingers and doing all that type stuff. So we have to maintain that whether we win or lose.
When you look at a game like this where first half, you were looking for your shot, and second half it just like seemed to click, did you change something at halftime, or did it was just a matter of the way it played out?
Yeah, again, that's built off of experience, knowing if your process is right, that you don't necessarily, you can get upset or start to tinker a little bit, but it's not really results based. I know, like, getting my feet underneath me, get to my spots, the shots I was taking, I was pretty confident in them. Come out in the second half, take the same shots, and whether they go in or not, like, it's a law of averages. Hopefully, will take over.
I think they all went in the third quarter. So
yes, they did. We needed them.
Last Warrior besides you that you heard get MVP chance here?
I would say definitely two. Maybe Pat McCall back in the day.
Draymond, what happened and why did you leave the bench?
Temper spilled over, and I just thought it was best that I get out of there. I don't think there was a situation where it was going to get better. So it was just best to remove myself, that's it.
What caused the argument?
Basketball, it's what we do. We play basketball. It's an emotional game. People lose their emotions. Sometimes it happens. It is what it is. We've been at this now for a long time, So sometimes you with people for a long time, there's a level of comfort, and shit happens. We move forward.
I mean, do you feel like this will linger at all?
No, we move forward.
Have you and Steve been able to talk about it since?
No, he had to talk to y'all. Everybody's doing their thing, but we're good. We'll move forward. We're all right.
It came after a couple of turnovers in the third. I mean, what's your level of frustration right now, I guess, with your play right now?
I'm not frustrated at all. I had one turnover today. I had the ball the whole time I was in the game. So I know how to fix problems when they're a problem. I had one turnover in my minutes, and I essentially ran our offense today. So
how do you feel? I mean, 15-15, y'all obviously won tonight. Like, just generally, like, where do you feel this team is at right now?
I think we're headed in the right direction. No one's happy about being 15-15, but I think we're starting to figure out different things, rotations, and who we are as a team. So I think that's all starting to come together, and we're looking a lot better.
Draymond, Brandon said that you were still talking a ton on the bench when you came back. You guys outscored them 62-40 in the second half. What did you see that was working the best tonight?
The ball moved. We moved the ball. We got, the shots started falling. I thought we played a great first half, and shots just didn't fall. But then the shots start falling. You continue to play that way, both defensively and offensively, making the right play. The shots will start to fall, and they started to go in the second half. They just wouldn't go in the first half.
Draymond, you mentioned it. You guys have been through a whole hell of a lot through the years. Why don't you think this particular episode will linger?
Because none of the other ones ever have. Still keep winning, so it'll be all right.
When you left the bench for the locker room, did you know that was going to be it for you tonight? And when you came back to the bench, did you expect to go back in?
I mean, I was going back to the bench, I'm going to be available for my teammates. I'm never going to quit on my teammates. So, but it's also not my decision whether I go back in the game or not. But, I thought I owed it to my teammates to be there and never quitting on them, so. But it's no issue with me not going back in either. I was quite stiff, to be honest, so it's probably better I didn't go back in.
Hello, Draymond. You talk about move forward, but how did you make sure that move forward is going to the right way?
do the right things, you know. As long as the objective is to win, and that's the main objective, then the only way forward is the right way, if that's the objective.
You guys didn't expect to be 15-15 after 30 games. I mean, not at all. So how much of that
Probably why tempers are flaring.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. I mean, is that a factor in some of the frustrations?
Of course, you know. Quite honestly, if everybody's okay with being 15-15 and it's just whoop-de-doo, talk to me when they're 41-41. Can't be whoop-de-doo when you 15-15. Something got to give. So, but we were 13-15, so I'll take 15-15. Just means it's headed in the right direction.
Dre, over here. You had the ejection in the last game, and obviously it was real emotional. Do you see this as a carryover from that at all, or?
No, you see me playing. I was playing pretty damn. I was moving well, and so no, but it wasn't carryover for me. I thought I was just fine.
Draymond, do you feel like if you were feeling like it was too hot, the situation was just too hot, and you needed to leave the bench, did you feel like that was a moment of growth or responsibility for it not to get bigger than it was, or how do you view?
I just thought that was best for me, you know, and everybody. Like, you know, you stay in a hot situation, there's no way to stop it. So I just wanted to remove myself from it.
And then did you want to make sure you came to the podium to talk about it, to address it?
For sure.
Hey, Draymond. Talking about frustration, how do you differentiate between like frustration that's helpful for the team versus frustration that might not be?
I think if your frustration is about doing the right things and everything moving the right direction, it's not going to always be as vanilla as you want it to be. So I think that's how you make sure it's positive. As long as it's directed towards what the main goal is, then everybody can figure it out and you can work through it. If it's not directed at that, then you kind of sink. So what I know is everybody around here want to win. And we have not done that at a high level this year. So we're trying to figure that out.
Did anybody come back and talk to you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was fine.
In other words, what did you do back there in the moment in between?
Stretch. It was good. I was real loose, and then I got cold.
How would you describe you've talked about it over the years. You've had these with Steve before. Just how would you describe your relationship, however many years in, with Steve?
We've won a lot of championships together. A lot of success. He's had a lot of success as a coach. I've had a lot of success as a player. Those things can never be taken away, so we'll continue to move forward, figure out what we need to do to win games, and that's the most important thing.
I'm not sure. That was right around my time to go in, and so I was running along the baseline trying to get loose to go in. So I didn't hear or see anything, but, they'll get it figured out.
Do you feel like Draymond leaving the bench and not playing the rest of the game, like this overshadows what was a good finish for you guys and a blowout win for you guys?
No, not at all. He was a great teammate on the bench, still telling us what he sees, and it helped us, going around third, fourth quarter.
This is a game where you guys had 3 20-point scores and then 16 from you as well. When the ball is moving around to everybody and you have that many people involved, what does it say about the communication right now and the flow of the offense?
Just making the simple play, the easy play. The more people that are threats to score the ball and, make plays for each other, the harder it is for the opposing defense to guard us. And so, that's why we're able to put up 120 points despite, shooting very poorly to start the game from 3.
Pods, you've been doing really well of being able to come off of screens and stopping and popping before you get too deep into the paint. Is that something you've been working on and being able to assess where the defense is and before getting to the trees and being able to elevate immediately?
Yeah, one thing about me, I love shooting a mid-range shot, even though it's bad analytically. I love shooting them. And if you're going to shoot them, you got to shoot them at a really high clip, percentage-wise. And so, I feel really confident, really comfortable doing that. and when opportunity presents itself, I'm try to take full advantage of it.
What was your vantage point on the Draymond Steve interaction, and how would you describe the nature of it?
Yeah, I'm like I told Kerr, I didn't see or hear anything. I was running along the baseline trying to get loose. It was about to be my time to come in. So like I said, it'll get figured out.
Is it a team rule that if you leave the bench, then you're done?
Have no idea.
Brandon, I mean, Draymond is Draymond, and he plays with fire, but he had the ejection last game and this game. Have you noticed anything about just his personality or the way he's carrying himself? Has he been the same guy this week as he always has been?
Yeah, he is. I think, as a leader, there's different ways to get the guys around you going. Obviously, our record is not where we want it to be, so there's different ways to, motivate the team as a leader. And, he's won 4 championships doing so, and so, we trust what he does. And like I said tonight when he came back, he was extremely, vocal and positive on the bench for the rest of us.
And how would you explain what's been unlocked for you guys after he's left the game, the last 2 games?
I don't think that's specific to anything of him being there or not. I just think, who's ever on the floor at any point in the game, we just try to make the right play possession after possession and just stack those, and it usually turns out in right favor for us as it has, the last 3 games.